Many ideas you hold originated in the minds of great philosophers. Would you like to know what ideas and why that matters? A lot. The Essence of Reality explores how the psyche, which you are, creates the reality you encounter. Good move. You found the essence of reality. We explore life here as in the nature of your consciousness and how life actually works. Religion creates its own fantasized truth, having nothing to do with reality. And science doesn't cover it either. Indeed, both of them hide life's real flow. You create your life qualities. No God does, no external power source does. You do. To see how that works, stay tuned now and come back again. This clip looks at philosophy with a focus on original thinking. Most people are not very original in their thinking. Most just go along with the ideas about life they pick up during childhood. Few actually question common cultural truths. But that's not surprising. Any beliefs and definitions you absorb in early life seem true. Any religion, any conviction, doesn't matter how impossible or illogical it is, it seems true if you believe in it. What happens is, in making sense of life as you wend your way through it, you interpret events through your belief systems. Thus, any belief you hold confirms its own apparent validity, whether or not there's any truth to it at all. For much of the last 2 millennia, Christianity kept a chokehold on any divergent thinking. But slowly, mankind wised up. By 1600, some thinkers had the imagination to question Christian dictates and the fortitude to speak out about it. Tom Nair here. Exploring Consciousness. These insights draw from my website, my books, and many talks to open-minded groups. I first recognized the oneness of things in a fleeting mystic experience years ago. But to see that oneness clearly, it took years to scrape away old, flawed beliefs. My inner journey led to what I call clear awareness, seeing how life works without a veil of beliefs to hide it. You can improve your life, health, relationship, success by delving into the deeper mind. There, within, you find and can change inner roots to outer problems. The great philosophers didn't always see far outside the box of common thinking. Some not at all. Others could see past common delusions only to discover more of their own. But at least they could think, and their thinking has led mankind out of his primitive condition into a more stable society, at least in many ways. Francis Bacon was key to opening up Western thinking around 1600. He was an early advocate of empiricism, the basic technique of science. If you want to understand the universe, according to this thinking, you have to examine it. Examine it closely, propose theories about how it works, and run tests to check those theories. As instrumental as Bacon was, though, he was still tied to a deity-in-chief running a universe. About that same time, René Descartes moved philosophy in another direction. Rational thinking. The gist here is that reason and logic need to be employed to make sense of reality. Through discussion and analysis, exchange of ideas and conclusions, sense could be made of the real world. This didn't line up exactly with empiricism, of course, but the rationalist was prone not to trust the senses, where the empiricist was fully reliant on sensory input. But both were great advancements over previous thinking. Revelation. For much of man's history, common understanding rode revelation as its only means to decipher life's function. This archaic paradigm assumes that the common man is incapable of understanding the complexities of its creator God. Only certain favored individuals, prophets and seers, were capable of connecting with heavenly sources to be able to reveal divine truth. Regardless of the religion across early civilizations, there invariably emerged priesthoods who took on the exclusive role of pandering to the ignorant, living off offerings while promoting falsehoods. Many a local priesthood lived well by parroting old revealed truth that had nothing to do with reality. Oddly enough, all three modes of thought have their shortcomings. Revelation certainly is the most restrictive and self-limiting. It rides any set of declarations inherited by the current set of believers, and whatever it claims as truth will seem valid to the ignorant who are brainwashed with the same crap since birth. As noted, whatever you hold to be true seems to be. Thus, revelation-type thinking always furthers itself in any culture. Only a few quite open-minded individuals, typically in any setting, are able to see through common tenets to question the basis of the revelation, and in the act, of course, incur the wrath of the entrenched priesthood. Many a free thinker was tortured or executed for questioning Catholic dictates through the Middle Ages. Empiricism, the basis of scientific thinking, and reasoned thinking suffer the same shortcoming as revelation. Both see reality and its function much more clearly than the totally indoctrinated religious mind could, but neither scientific endeavor nor rational thinking can escape the psyche's limitations. Every mind perceives a reality through the innate distortion of its own held notions. In philosophy, only the German line of thinkers from about 1800 on, Fichte, Hegel, and Schelling, up through Schopenhauer, began to recognize the effect of perception on understanding. Their line of thinking, called German idealism, connected mind to reality more closely than Kant or British philosopher John Locke did. Nietzsche and ultimately Wittgenstein carried that ball about as far as philosophy can take it. That is, resting perception on rational thinking alone, without clearing away its distorting base ideas, can never cover the whole function of the psyche. Awareness of one's own total conscious capability requires the release of complex ideas, not the development of ever more complicated ones. So philosophy has distinct limits, and we'll look at those as we proceed, but philosophers have certainly and absolutely moved man's view beyond old limitations of revealed truth, which isn't truth at all. The contribution of these brilliant men was more in allowing thinking at all than in the specific thoughts they came up with. See you later. Lots more to cover. Any belief you hold confirms its own apparent validity, whether or not there's any truth to it at all. Francis Bacon was an early advocate of empiricism. If you want to understand the universe, you have to examine it. Rational thinking. The gist here is that reason and logic need to be employed to make sense of reality. Many a local priesthood lived well by parroting old revealed truth that had nothing to do with reality, resting perception on rational thinking alone, without clearing away its distorting base ideas, can never cover the whole function of the psyche. Awareness of one's own total conscious capability requires the release of complex ideas, not the development of ever more complicated ones. The contribution of philosophers was more in allowing thinking at all than in the specific thoughts they came up with.